What's going on, you guys? So today we're going to be going over a specific situation. It's come up multiple times. I can't count how many times, but this is a really good one, so I thought we'd do a video on it. So this guy text messages me in my program and he says, "Hey Lloyd, I am seeing this girl and we've been on a few dates thus far. In person, everything is great. She shows a lot of interest, but the problem comes when we start texting. It seems I am always the one to initiate it. Although she always responds in a reasonable amount of time and is thoughtful, I feel like if I stopped texting her, we would just stop talking altogether. I feel like if she was interested, she would initiate more. Should I cut it?" So this guy's asking a lot of great questions. Basically, this is like, if she never texts you first, in this particular example, is this something that he should cut, go on to the next one because she's just not interested? I'm actually going to say no, I think she is interested. And the reason why I'm saying that is because she's showing a lot of signs that there is interest. So let's break this down a little bit. We're going to talk what women actually do when they're interested in a guy. So if a woman is choosing you, she has chosen you as a person that she is potentially seeing as someone who she would like to date. She's going to make herself readily available for dates. She's going to respond in a reasonable amount of time and probably be thoughtful with her responses. It sounds like she has done those things thus far. And then the next thing that she's going to do is she's going to be down to follow your lead. And in this case, that usually means she is going to respond when you text her. She is going to go to the place that you want to go to. She's not going to give you a bunch of back and forth about how she doesn't want to go to this area. She wants to go to this area. That kind of behavior is typically of someone who is on the fence or just really isn't that interested in you. When a woman desires a man, she will typically follow that guy. Now, you've probably experienced moments in your life where you felt like you were doing all the work and she just ended up not being interested. And that definitely happens all of the time. So in this video, I'll tell you exactly what you should be looking for when a woman truly isn't interested. But before I get into that, I'm going to give you an example of a woman who was very interested, but never initiated. And that's my current girlfriend. So when we first started dating, it was very rare that my girlfriend would initiate texting. In fact, she's told me specifically she wouldn't do that. And if you've ever dated someone who's, maybe from Eastern Europe or Latina, especially from traditional societies, they are taught never to pursue. They think that if they initiate any sort of texting, it comes off as chasing, which is not true. And there are plenty of women who do it, but some women still believe that, or they just don't want to. They want to be desired. They want to be pursued. And so they want you to text them. Now, if you waited a week, would she text you? I think there's a decent chance she would, but there is also a decent chance she wouldn't. When do you know when to cut this off? You know when to cut this off when she stops reciprocating, when she stops accepting date invites, when she starts making it more difficult for you to meet up with her. If she is not making herself available for you to meet up, that means she is not interested. But if she is, and she's accepting dates and she's responding and she continues to do this, I say continue to go for it. At the beginning bit, you will have to do more of the initiating. Women usually wait on the guy to ask for the phone number. They usually wait on the guy to ask them out on a date. They usually wait for the guy to initiate touch. Even the guy who normally gets on his knee and asks the woman to marry him. That's usually how the dating process works. And although we live in the modern world, it's still going down like that. Women still dream about that. They dream about being pursued by a guy who they really like. Read a romance novel, right? It usually doesn't involve a woman chasing down a guy. Okay, that's what women dream about. When you're in this, the way you know to cut it off is if you've asked her out on a date and she's made it very difficult for you and she won't meet up, okay? I would even say if she flakes one time for a stupid excuse and doesn't offer to reschedule, that to me is a one strike and you're out rule. Like if you asked her out, you say, "Hey, you want to meet up this weekend?" And she's like, "Hey, I can't do that. I gotta hang out with my dog," or something like that. And that's all she says. And she doesn't say anything else. If she says that, I want you to say, "No problem, stop texting her and find somebody else who's willing to be available for you." But in this case, dude, I'd be willing to bet that this guy, if he continued pursuing her later on down the line, like my girlfriend did, she would start initiating more when she felt more comfortable and she felt more secure in the relationship. But right now, she still wants you to pursue her. And as a result, she's going to be less likely to hit you up. However, if you're in a relationship and she never initiates, that's something that you guys can talk about. I mean, you're talking about it as an adult now. You're not talking about it as like, "Oh, I need to build attraction and maintain my masculinity." That's something that you've already done. You don't need to do that anymore. And if you feel like you're pulling teeth for this person to hang out, there are women who are interested in men that just don't show that kind of interest. And if that's what you want in your life, go out and find somebody who's going to give that to you. But at the beginning, This is totally normal. The only thing that I would mention that I haven't mentioned before is that if she is not texting you first, and on top of that, she's taking a long time to respond, yeah, I'd say that's not interesting. I have seen that happen where a woman wouldn't initiate and she also took a long time to respond and she just claimed that she was a bad texter. Look, there are bad texters, but even a bad texter can be at least an okay texter for a person that they're really interested in. And if you find that you're not getting any of those reactions that you want with women and you really want to be able to experience what it's like to actually be chosen by the women that you want, then click on the link down below, schedule a meeting with me or a member of my team, and we'll see if we can get you that, man.